Are we good? Okay. Let's crack on. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ordinary meeting of Council, Tuesday, the 24th of June, 2025, opening at 5:30-ish. Kaya, Nala Karak Noongar Khan Karak Manjimup. We'd like to acknowledge the Noongar people as the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet. Announcements by me. The last couple of days I've been very fortunate to attend two changeover meetings for Lions and Rotary. It's really drawn to attention just how pivotal these committees are, not only to changing lives within our communities, but also internationally. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Alan Lloyd as the President of Lions and returning President Mr. Paul Rumenos, and wish them all the best in their year of presidency. I've just come from a meeting with Telstra in Bunbury. Our councillor from Northcliffe will be very pleased to know that we have confirmed and scheduled capacity upgrades for Northcliffe will be done by the end of the year. So, small win, but any win we can get is a good one. We also advocated very strongly for the increase in funding for our Country Week students. So as per the state funding, any students that lived under 300 kilometres from the city was eligible for $250 to attend Country Week. Any over 300 kilometres was eligible for $500 per student. Manjimup sits at 297 kilometres. So we just missed out. Through the advocacy directly to our Southwest Minister, Minister Punch, we were successful in obtaining that extra funding. So each student got $500. So that goes to Manjimup Senior High School and Kiernan College, and we are very thankful for the support that we received from our Minister. On a personal note, I can now officially let you know that I am now the chair of the Warren-Donnelly Water Advisory, and very pleased to be able to strongly advocate for sustainable and secure water, which will prioritise agriculture and food production and the environment over any other factors that may enter into our region. Okay, apologies, we have none. And approved leave of absence, we just have our CEO.
Correct.
Yes, done. Excellent. Declarations of interest?
I have nil.
Fabulous. No, it's a matter of opinion. Public question time. 5.1, response to public questions taken on notice. We have nil. Public question time. Okay. So this is the only time of the meeting that you can address council. You have 3 minutes to ask any questions of council. Doesn't have to be just matters that are on the agenda. We would ask that you state your correct name and address, as this will form part of the public records. This is separate to the deputation. So I know we have 2 deputations tonight. So are there any questions? Excellent. It's going to be a very quick meeting. Okay, presentations. 6.1, petitions. We have nil. Presentations. We have nil. Deputations. We have 2. First deputation, we might ask Mr. French. Did you want to come up first? And cohort? Thank you.
Do you want me to start again? No. I'm here with Graham Gibson, Martin Lentis and other club members representing the Manjimup District Rifle Club. I'll just give a quick rundown of what we do. Shooting sports is a category of sports that involves the use of firearms to hit a target, sometimes moving, sometimes not. Tools of the trade, shotguns, handguns, rifles, traditional bows, compound bows for archery. At the Manjimup Rifle Club, we participate in the discipline of long-range target shooting. There are different classes within this discipline, but that we could take up a whole Shire meeting about those different classes and calibers and whatever. In summary, we shoot various calibers in various types of long rifles, all with the same aim, literally, of scoring the highest points possible at targets spaced anywhere between 700 yards and 300 yards from the mound we shoot from. The club started in the 1920s at Jim Muir's place near Wilgarra. Later moved to Gibbelini's farm at Palgarra. In 1956, the club moved again to its current location opposite Cosy Creek Road and South West Highway intersection. Sometimes you might see it with the red flag that indicates that we're participating in shooting activities. The current site was chosen to be used as a military training range. Once the military had finished its use of the range, it was gifted to WARA, which is the West Australian Rifle Association. This stands today. The Manjimup Club has a management order from WARA to operate the range. It is classified as a full bore range, which means it can safely handle calibers up to 8mm. So that's quite a large gun, and there's not many ranges in the state which are capable of handling that calibre, which is a testament to the safety and the past safety and hopefully the future safety of that range. So a club has a history of success. In 2013, Michael Fosberg won the state championships known as the Queen's Prize. 2023, Brett Morgan was successful in the state championship King's Prize. The late Clary Benson has had multiple state second places in state championships. Mark Malentis, who's here tonight, he's currently in the West Australian state team. He's preparing to represent Western Australia and Manjimup in the national championships in Brisbane in 2026. Manjimup also hosts state team practice shoots. Long-range target shooting could be considered the ultimate inclusive sport. There are no categories for age except for minimum age required by law, and we've got a couple of younger shooters here tonight. I see them on the weekends, and they're pretty awesome at it. There's no, except for minimum age required by law or gender, which is emphasised by the 2024 King's Prize, which was emphatically taken out by 22-year-old woman Jessie Craigie from Yarloop. Jessie was celebrated for a win in the traditional manner by being carried from the range seated on a throne on the shoulders of a fellow marksman. We experience a wide range of competitors at Manjimup. In particular, there's an elderly gentleman. He's blind in one eye and I'm pretty sure he can't see out the other. But every time he outscores everyone on his card. It's inspirational and it's also humbling at the same time. And it gives someone like myself, who's probably half his age, something to aspire to. The club provides a place of mateship, inclusivity, knowledge sharing, and is the definition of the state government's Social Initiative Act, Belong, Commit. The Manjimup District Rifle Club is currently facing its greatest threat. As you may or may not be aware, many shooting ranges around the state are in danger of closure or have already closed due to the new requirements for shooting ranges under the Firearms Act 2024. Manjimup is one of those under threat. The new regulations have directly converted the requirements from the imperial measurements, which were from 1956 when they changed the range to a military range, from imperial measurements to metric. What was once measured in yards is now required to directly convert to metres. For example, the envelope was acceptable at 2,000 yards. It is now required to be 2,000 metres. This is also reflected in the new requirements for width of the safety envelope. As a result, the new envelope of the land has an unmade but gazetted road, Kimber Road, passing through the corner of the land. our club, Graham in particular, has made submission to the Shire to temporarily close the road in order to maintain our range licence. This will form part of a broader audit process by the police, and we're confident that we'll pass this audit with the support of the Shire. If the Rifle Club fails in its retention of the range licence, it will also mean the closure of the Manjimup Archery Club and the Manjimup Pistol Club, which operates on the same parcel of land. Our goal is to bring to the Council's attention tonight the threat faced by local clubs and to make aware the benefit it brings its members, associate clubs and local communities. We actually have members from other clubs come to Manjimup because they feel that they are more accepted and they are more welcome in our club, and they appreciate that because other clubs apparently don't take the time to integrate them into the club and embrace their presence, I suppose, because of these new laws. There's a lot influx of people into the clubs and a lot of people being shunned, so we have people come to Manjimup because we embrace them and we would really love to include them in our activity and what we do. Finally, we ask that when the time comes and the councillors to vote, pull the trigger so to speak, on the proposed temporary closure of the required section of the road, the council honours the Rifle Club's future opportunities and past successes and votes in a manner that sees the Manjimup Rifle Club continue into the future. Thank you for your time and attention. Is there any questions for myself or Graham as the president of the Manjimup Rifle Club? No? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Sir Philby.
As I noticed, I'm not the only follically challenged male here. Out of due respect to the council, I shall remove my beanie. My name is Michael Philby. I'm a resident of Walpole. We're founding members of the Tidy Town Committee, along with Dave Tapley, a previous councillor, current councillor Jennifer Wilcox, and myself. We're the driving force behind that group, and we've led to regional, state, national titles and awards in abundance as individual ones for myself. Only 4 months ago, Jennifer Wilcox and I were invited to Parliament House in Canberra, where I received the Individual Community Award for Australia. We got to meet a lot of powerful people. They regard the highway bisecting the Walpole Wilderness as the cleanest in the nation. This has got significant impact on real estate values, tourism ventures. It's beyond just picking up litter. Over 20 years, I've completed 3 circumnavigations of the planet, average speed of 23 kilometers an hour. You've heard this all before. It would take me 9 to 10 hours to complete a 200-kilometer return journey. I'll be stopping 500 times in a day, reversing 500 times. Was great working on a 45-degree ramp over. Wade would understand this. The cost of this is quite enormous. It's been estimated in Perth at $2.25 per kilometre for that kind of work. I've managed to do it for $1. I do 10,000 kilometres a year at $1. It cost me 10,000. That 10,000 would be divided maybe 4,000 for fuel. My vehicle gets completely maintained every 6 months in Perth, stripped every bearing, every seal. Is a bit like a military vehicle, a bit like Qantas Air, it doesn't break down. It's done over 500,000 kilometres. It's 35 years old. But it's cheaper than continually replacing with a new vehicle. Right, so in the past, Dave Tapley has approached Woolworths in Manjimup and Coles. I've approached Guru Brothers of IGA fame in Walpole and Denmark, all with no success. In the last year, Jennifer Wilcox, councillor, with myself approached Twiggy Forest and Minderoo Foundation, again with no success. They said they favoured gender equality, which I support, so if I decide to wear a dress and clean the highway, they might sponsor us, but I might get more money elsewhere, though. I'm not sure. In the past, thank you for that. You see my legs, so not a good idea. Yeah. In the past, we've approached Bannister Downs, a hand-in-hand project. We've received $1,000 per annum for 2 years, but they've got a limited annual budget. Keep Australia Beautiful, which is part of the state government in WA, they've paid $1,500 per annum if I display their advertising, which I've done for 5 years. But economists have stopped that. So Terry Redmond used to fight for that when he was in Parliament. So really, we are not successful in raising money. I will say that the Shire of Manjimup are a shining light. They've donated to Walpole Tidy Towns $1,500 for 18 years now without break. That highway is not under their jurisdiction, not under your jurisdiction. And yet for goodwill and the effect it has on the community, you are and have been outstanding. The Shire of Denmark, I clean equal amount of their highway right into their town. They're renowned for their environmental and conservation values. Zero, not a single cent has ever been contributed from Denmark. And I'm talking a massive amount of highway. So we're looking at this. It's under Main Roads jurisdiction. Main Roads are based in Bunbury for the southwest and Albany for the Great Southern. The Walpole Wilderness lies, the highway, at the extremity of both of those regions. I know at the highest level, I've got their highest awards, I know them. They have no intention of removing one piece of litter from 200 kilometers of highway. It will be a catastrophe. They do put up signage to keep me quiet. We have petitions in Parliament. They put 18 signs up in the lab, but they will not clean. I've got a box outside full of government main roads equipment that I remove by the thousands. I've had them on the ABC, everything. I'm a friend of them. I know they haven't got the finances. It will never be done. I proved that one person can do it legally. It's not a job for an employed person because of work restrictions. A volunteer can do it, but it does cost money. So my purpose of making this presentation is purely to seek the opportunity to discuss a possible litter levy or waste levy, that the community should realize the cost of waste and litter management. You would know that from your own tip issues. Main Road removed all bins from this highway in 2009 and explained to me that it's the public who litter, not they. Well, I can prove otherwise, but they actually say it's the public. It's their responsibility. The fact that if they did clean the highway, the cleaner it is, the higher their tip fees are, in the millions. So this is a fundamental problem that's got to be addressed. And I would only ask that you could consider or discuss possibilities of a litter levy. Obviously, there are many complications in that, and I do appreciate it. So, thank you very much for listening again.
Thank you, Mr. Philby. It's very timely. Obviously, we are coming into our budget discussions. Levies, from what I understand, are tricky, but I'm sure it's a conversation that we will continue to have. Some of us are members of Chamber of Commerce's within our region. I think it's probably a discussion that we could bring up with our Chamber of Commerce's as well.
Thank you. We've always, sorry.
Just a question, is the litter level becoming worse? Like we're increasing tourism, we're going to open new bike tracks, bike tracks, for example. And with the increase in tourism, have you noticed an increase?
Right. The answer is yes, but it's only the efficiency of cleaning it, a bit like cleaning a hotel or a house. If you do it regularly, then it's doable, and therefore it doesn't appear to be increasing, but the answer is yes. We lack leadership, and I don't mean at local government level, I'm referring to federal and state government. We lack serious leadership. This could be addressed quite simply. I talked in Parliament for 30 seconds. And Jenny will tell you, people are asking, who is he? I can do it in 30 seconds. What's wrong with a Prime Minister or a Premier leading and saying what I've said many times? We go to the Versailles, we go to Buckingham Palace, we go to the Vatican, we go to the Taj Mahal, we don't litter. Why are we doing it to our own country? Stop doing it. Now, that didn't take very long. And if that comes from a Prime Minister or they're too interested in glamping in Kings Park. They're not thinking about these areas that we know in Pemberton and Walpole and elsewhere. I will say, because I did clean from Vass Highway to Mersey Road for 3 years, 2019, I'm very impressed someone, whoever it is doing it. Whether that's main roads now that are centred in to a degree in Manjimup, or volunteers or Lions groups, also north up from Palgarra, that area. Yeah, I know that someone is doing something because there is a big improvement. So praise to whoever it is.
Councillor Cowho.
Thanks, Madam President. The UK have Sir Michael Caine and we have Sir Michael Philby, who should be a Sir for his services to humanity and litter collection.
Excuse me.
I think your advocacy could have, in fact, eventuated in something happening. I mean, last week or the week before, Main Roads had a crew which had a traffic management crew with it, and they were picking up rubbish just south of Jardee when I saw them. So
Perfect.
I think maybe potentially your advocacy and your
Thank you.
dogged determination
Thank
to
you.
keep the place clean, which is probably a great little slogan, keep the place clean, has paid off. They've
Thank
just
you.
had a $37 million cut in their budget in the last state
Yes.
budget, so that
Yes.
may not occur in the next financial year. But congratulations, because I think it's down to people like you
I do think
ensure that these things happen.
Sorry, mate. I do think an OBE would be good because I'm a Republican and I'd have the possibility of
Oh, you're out there.
refusing
No
it.
Sir for you
And
then.
I can refuse it.
No, I'm a monarchist. No, you're not.
And that would get more publicity for the cause. So,
Councillor Amadou.
Madam President, have we found out any more about that group? There were 2 people with a dedicated vehicle and they were out there a couple of weeks ago. So I think we need to find out a bit more about that. Do we know any more about it?
Director at Infrastructure Services, who just before she starts, you may not know who this lady is. She is our new Director of Infrastructure Services, Catherine Mills. Sorry, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, we do. It was the Active Foundation through a agreement with Main Roads to pick up the litter voluntarily.
And Mr Gibson, you might know, do cadets still do the roadways?
oh, sorry.
Section of road from Finch Street out to Ingle Road.
Yep.
And West Boundary Road from Mount White Road through to Eastern Street.
Yeah, okay. So the cadets are run through our high school. Just so you know, Mr Philby, that's internally, not the
Yes.
highway though.
And I see the result of this. I'd like to mention Paul also. Paul also came on the ABC with me to support me. So everything I think about with the Shire of Manjimup is a positive.
Excellent. I'm very pleased to hear. Yep.
Thank you
Any
very
other
much.
questions, councillors? We good? Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr Philby. Okay, delegate reports. There are nil, and conference reports. There are nil. Would someone like to confirm the previous minutes, please? Councillor Ivey. Gosh.
I move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on the 27th of May 2025 be confirmed as a true and accurate record.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Ventris. I'm looking this way this week. Can we put that to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Okay, so we do have one motion of which previous notice has been given. This agenda item will be presented at the ordinary council meeting on the 22nd of July 2025, which will be held in Pemberton. Officers' reports. Now, gallery, I am going to give you the opportunity, unless you want to sit through the rest of our meeting, you do have the opportunity to run away now. Yeah, it won't take very long, but you are welcome to leave. I will not be offended if you want to walk out now. Thank you very much all for coming. Okay, officers' reports. Executive services, Office of the CEO, 9.1.1, review of policy, 2.1.3, appointment of acting and temporary chief executive officer. Corporate and governance, 9.2.1, proposed lease to Walpole Volunteer Marine Rescue Inc. Finance and administration, 9.3.1, Shire financial payments for April 2025. 9.3.2, monthly statement of financial activity, April 2025. 9.3.3, adoption of proposed 25-26 fees and charges is absolute and taken out. Statutory planning, 9.5.1, proposed change of use from a dwelling to a holiday accommodation at lot 10, 17, Bottlebrush Drive, Walpole. 9.5.2, delegated planning decisions, May 2025. Community and recreation services, proposed budget amendment and allocation of additional funds to award request for quote, empowering communities for sustainable growth and council plan project is absolute and taken out. And advisory committees, appointment of presiding members of committees is absolute and taken out. Would someone like to adopt the recommendations? Oh, Councillor Ivey.
I move that council adopt the recommendations contained in the council officers and committee reports on pages 1 to 32 of the agenda, with the exception of those on the board.
Thank you.
Is the agenda longer than 32? I've got the old one. 41. Yeah.
You've got another one.
Oh, yeah, 41. Okay. Is there a seconder? Councillor De Campo. Can we put that to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. All right. Page 17. If everyone can just talk slowly while they do this, this would be great. 9.3.3, adoption of proposed 25-26 fees and charges. Councillor De Campo.
As per officer recommendation.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Ivey. Councillor De Campo.
Could I just say, in quoting Marco Rubio, is that the idea of more taxes and more government spending is the best way to help hard-working middle-class taxpayers. That's an old idea that's failed every time it's been tried. And can I say that in this item, we have kept it fiscally sound and kept our increases to a minimum. So congratulations to staff on doing that. And I think ratepayers will be genuinely surprised in the small increases in our fees and charges that are a part of this budget. And I do commend the motion to you.
I hope so. Councillor Ivey, did you want to speak to? Are there any other speakers? Put it to the vote, please, councillors. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Page 33. 9.9.1, proposed budget amendment and allocation of additional funds to award requests for quote, empowering communities for sustainable growth and council plan project. Councillor Ventris, is there a seconder? Oh, you're supposed to say, as per. As per.
I'll move officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor De Campo. Councillor Ventris, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, I'll speak to the motion. I see we've got all night. No, look, I think this is one of those situations where, it's hard to gauge whether it's a good spend or not a good spend. My uncle was in advertising for a long period of time, and he said, you can spend $1 on advertising, 50 cents of it is a complete waste of time, and 50 cents of it does a really good job. The trouble is you never know which 50 cents is effective. And I think in this sort of situation, there's some similarities in that we're spending a fair bit of money, and is it going to be a waste of money or not? And I think that's one of these things that we need to do. I think particularly for the outer communities, I think we're fairly well aligned in Manjimup. We've, thanks to our previous Shire presidents, particularly Councillor De Campo, we managed to get Supertown money. I think it's been well established, most probably $50 million. What the community wants, the direction we want to go, we've got 4 or 5 councillors and 4 or 5 staff. And so I think in some of the outer towns, particularly I look at Walpole, I think the community is really strong in Walpole. They know where they're going, but as an organisation, at times, how well aligned are we with the communities like Walpole? And we face the real situation has been imposed on us that coming in the future we may not have a councillor from Walpole, whether that's in the short term, but definitely a possibility in the longer term. And so that'll be even more important that we know the direction that Walpole want to go in, and that we align ourselves with the community. And I look at communities like Northcliffe. I think Northcliffe was a community that was allowed, when the mill closed, must be some 20 years ago, to just drift and get to a low level. And congratulations most probably to Councillor Ivey, and most probably the last 7 or 8 years we've shifted Northcliffe to an area where you must have brought it back to equilibrium to some degree, and we've put some money in there and footpaths and stuff. But it's a good lesson, and when you let things slip and you fall out and you don't really know what's happening and you allow things to slip, it's a big effort to get it back again. So I think, you know, to find out where Northcliffe now want to go would be a really good thing. And I think in Pemberton, similar sort of situation. I think the community knows where they want to go. We've got a strong chamber, got a strong visitors centre. And there are times, as I reflect back over the 7 or 8 years, it's not always, as an organisation, we're not always aligned with those sorts of things. So this gives us an opportunity to find where those communities want to go. So I don't think it's a waste of money. I think, you know, we've got to have an open mind when we go into some of these things, and be prepared to listen. And so, yeah, I can see some fors and against, but I recommend, and I'd just like to also congratulate staff in obtaining the grant money. We asked them to put a grant in to achieve this purpose, and they were successful in getting the grant. Maybe they could have got a bit more, but they got a fair bit of money, and it's going to go a long way towards the cost of this. So thank you to the staff in following the instructions of council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor of Interest. Councillor De Campo? You're good. Are there any speakers against? No? Shall we put it to the vote then, councillors? All those in favour? And against? Carried 8-1. Thank you. Page 39, 9.16.1, appointment of presiding members of committees. Councillor De Campo.
I'll move as per officer recommendation.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Ivey. Councillor De Campo, did you want to speak too?
Well, given that every speech may be a valedictory speech from now till October by the looks. No, I just commend the motion to you.
Thank you. Councillor Ivey, did you have a valedictorian speech? No? Excellent. Are there any other speakers? Can we put it to the vote, please, councillors? All those in favour? Thank you. Carried 9-0. Thank you. It's a very quick meeting. Late reports. Someone? Anybody? No? Questions from members? Okay. Response to questions from members taken on notice. Nil. Questions from members. Motions for consideration at the following meeting. Okay. New business of an urgent nature introduced by a decision of the meeting. There is nil. Applications for leave of absence. Councillor Omade has requested leave of absence for the ordinary council meeting held on the 22nd of July and the 19th of August.
Madam President, can I
Councillor
just
Omade.
amend that? It's actually only the July meeting.
Just July? Yep, no worries. You don't want to keep August up your sleeve just in case? Okay. Councillor De Campo. We do, thank
So
you.
I'll move that council approve the requested leave of absence for the 22nd of July for Councillor Omade.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Mylan. All those in favour, councillors? It's approved 9-0, sorry. Okay, well, there being no further business that anyone would like to discuss? No? I thank everyone that's in attendance and close the meeting at 6:05.
That's a record for you.
God.